Hello, folks. This is Bob Safel. I want to thank you for coming to our business expansion webinar, which I hold every Friday. And I tell you, I got a lot of great response from our last webinar because I talked about uh, kind of how we're focusing even more on top line revenue, increasing your top line revenue. Of course, Grant Cardone talks about that a lot, and boy, is he right. Um, I like that because listen, if I can do things that improve your top line revenue, that's going to give you the space necessary where you can do other things like, making sure you're paying, the fair amount for different services, or making sure, your payments out make sense. But, let's just push that to the side, and I want to talk about what kinds of things increase your top line revenue. And the bottom line to get top line revenue is you have to attract attention, you have to generate leads, and you have to have some way to get those people from mild interest, maybe even high interest, over into the sales mode and closing mode. I mean, that's the bottom line. Attract attention, generate lead, convert lead through a sales process to a close. Anything else is irrelevant. Okay? I mean, there's of course there are technology of selling. There's technology, those are kind of sub layers, but you got to attract attention, you got to generate a lead, you got to move it along the sales cycle to a close. Now, the sales cycle can be done by humanoids or funnel systems that help generate knowledge to the point when they're ready to do something. Sales can occur through videos. Sales can occur through webinars. There's the sales process, okay, of essentially identifying certain issues with the buyer, giving them solutions, and getting them over to the close. So what I want to talk about today is what I believe is the pound for pound best tool for generating leads and closing people. That's the talk today. What is the thing that is the pound for pound best lead generation tool and closing tool? Okay? And to me, it's a properly done video. Okay? I'm sure you've all heard the phrase, let me make sure I get it up here. The phrase, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Now think about that for a second. And, obviously before the invention of the movie, pictures versus words were, obviously competing methodologies to educate or enlighten or create the veritable light bulb, of recognition. I call it the wow moment. So you could do it with words, or you can do it with pictures. So for centuries and centuries and centuries, the competing messaging techniques were words versus pictures. Well, pictures are worth 1,000 words. Now, obviously, how much is a film or a video worth? That's literally, if you have something running at 20, 30 frames per second, that's a lot of pictures, isn't it? That's creating motion. So if you have a video, that has literally, to create a video, you have thousands and thousands and thousands of pictures, which amplify the message or the communication. So there's absolutely no question that video is more effective than pictures, and pictures in most cases are more effective than words. So I want you to think about your website right now. Just look at the front page Or think about the sales collateral you give your salespeople to use. A lot of words, I bet. A lot of words. And I bet, many fewer pictures than you should. Like, I'm going to give you an example. When we're like selling celebrities, okay, here's what we do. Okay, ready? When people want to know about celebrities, we send them to this page. Look at all these celebrities. You see them in pictures, right? You see Paula Abdul. Well, she's pretty well known, right? If you're in sports, there's Terrell Owens. Terrell, I should say. I mean, for different people, that's Victoria Justice. If you have any daughters that are in the house that are, between 16 and 22, Victoria Justice is practically a superhero. Okay. There's Kevin Harrington. There's David Justice. There's a famous baseball player. There's Paulina Perakova. Okay. You see her? Well, she's a supermodel. She was on 4 Sports Illustrated covers in a row. Never happened before or since. So she's a pretty famous supermodel. But you get my point, right? You see? If you're sports, person, Lawrence Taylor over on the left-hand side and Phil Simms. If you live in New York, you know exactly who I'm talking about. So what do we do to establish credibility in terms of our celebrity site? Pictures. Pictures of all these celebrities that we're hanging out with, doing things with, There's Dougie Fresh, there's my wife. That's a picture. There's me, kind of. You see me with big. That's a Robert Horry, the big guy with a green shirt on. He's won 7 NBA championships. So when we want to establish credibility, not too hard when I got this, right? That's it. So pictures are worth 1,000 words, and videos are worth a whole lot more. Okay. In fact, this is Seth Godin. And he talks about this. He says, people do not buy goods and services. They buy relations, stories, and magic. So just think about that for a second. People do not buy goods and services. They buy relations, stories, and magic. And the most effective way to tell stories and create magic are through videos. If they're done right. I mean, I've seen some of the crappiest videos you can ever imagine. I mean, you think to yourself, holy smokes. How did somebody have the gonads to actually charge money for a video? And some of these, I mean, the thing you don't want to do, whether it's using the wrong celebrity or using a bad video, or what you don't want to do when you're trying to market or sell or close, is use crap. I hate to say it, I'm just going to put it real bluntly. If your website looks like trash, you're not going to sell. If you think to yourself right now, think about your website, think about your lead page, think about the stuff you give to your salesman to use to sell and close. If you have a doubt right now, just think about, if you're going, if you're kind of gritting your teeth, or you're going, guess what? Man, you got to change that. You follow me? You got to change that. Particularly because more and more and more, you got to use the internet to market with. Because more and more and more and more people do searches before they buy things. So your first impression is better work. If you give a bad first impression, if people go to your site and they're putting their finger in their throat to throw up, well, that's not good, because they're gone. In fact, if you want to hear an interesting statistic, do you know that typically on your typical website, 95% of visitors leave before 10 seconds are even up? So that means only 5% of visitors to your average website stay on the website longer than 10 minutes or 10 seconds. So I want you to think about the 10-second test. I want you to think about your site, your lead page, your funnels, the stuff you give your salespeople. Do those tools survive the 10-second test? Now, if you have any doubts in your mind that the survivability rate of your website, lead page, lead generation, funnels, whatever, does not survive the 10-second test, you have some work to do. And I'm just trying to be just as absolutely blunt as I can. I hope this is blunt. I hope, if anybody here has a website or a landing page or a lead page or has a video or whatever, has pictures on your site where you pause, where you go, yeah. If you have any doubts in your mind, your mission in the next 30 days is change right now. And screw how much money it costs. Man, you don't, if you have a crappy website, if you have a crappy video on your site, if you have crappy copy, if you have crap, do you understand how much money you're losing? Oh man, I gotta save $2,000. I gotta save $5,000. Folks, you are losing way more money than you're saving. And I know I may actually start losing some visitors here listening to me. I may be being way too harsh, but I really want to bang home this point. If your website is not up to snuff, if your lead page is not up to stuff, if the web system, if what you got, if what you're showing people is not up to snuff, you better change it. You better improve it. You got to do it. Okay? So that's my first thing. Now let's get down to the video. Why do I talk about a video of all the different types of collateral you can use to sell something? Why a video is the most powerful, okay? And to really understand that, you have to really look at the sales cycle, okay? Let's talk about the sales cycle, and then you'll understand why video is so important. Okay, now remember, the front end of a sales cycle is getting attention. Attention. And I'm going to add a little piece to that. It's not just getting attention, it's keeping attention. Getting and keeping attention. You got to get their attention and keep their attention. Get their attention and keep their attention. I bet you I got your attention now. Get your attention, or get their attention and keep it. Now, the first thing when they see your video, you have to create a wow, or what I call credibility. Now, if you have a crappy video, you've created doubt. In the sales cycle, lead cycle, close cycle will cease. The instant you enter doubt or concern in the mind of the buyer or the prospect, they're out. They're done. So whatever you do, then see, a well-produced video creates, wow, oh, whoa, it creates confidence. You have to create credibility, confidence, whatever you want to call it, in that first look. Remember, first appearances, right? That's what you got to do. So that basically what you're trying to do, because so many people have been screwed so many times on buying things or being helped. So many times people have been screwed, hurt, damaged by, quote, things that were meant to help them or meant to solve a problem. So they got just a little lack of trust here, folks. They got a little, they're a little suspicious. You mean by the time you get to 25, 35, 45, people are like, whoa, man. They're always looking through the side of their eye, So you have to get rid of the doubt, concern, worry, at least up to the point where they're going to give a good, honest look. Okay, so that is basically gaining enough credibility where they will then proceed on to listen to you. A video does that, done right. A video done wrong is the exact opposite in spades. Okay, so you got that. A good video, a great video, grabs attention, and man, I'm telling you, locks up that credibility. You got to get credibility for people to go on. Now, once you got their credibility, you must showcase the pain or problem that the person has that they want to resolve. You got to hit it. Boom. You got to touch the thing. Now listen, if you probably think your product or service or whatever, you're thinking to yourself, well, hell, it solves a whole lot of things, or it addresses a whole lot of problems. That's great. You're probably right. In fact, you are right. You're right. Your product or service or whatever you got is addressing, lots of problems. Well, I want you to identify the biggest single problem that you resolve in the customer, because most people will not pull out their wallet or their purse and pull out the plastic or pull out the green and spend on something that isn't something that's going to solve. It's got to solve a problem. It's got to solve a pain point. It must do that. Because there are too many I want you to think about in the last 30 days, how many times people or situations arose that wanted money from you. Just think about it. How many times did some problem, something come up that they were tugging at your money? A lot, right? A lot. Whether it's a refrigerator breaking down, whether it's a flat tire, whether it's a pain here and there in your body you didn't expect before, it's a person that's a friend of yours that needs some money. I mean, come on, man. People, you walk down a store aisle and there's 1,000 different things screaming for the cash in your bank, right? So you have to be the squeaky wheel that gets the oil. Your thing or what you're offering must identify and amplify the pain that you solve for somebody to want to pull out their money and give it to you rather than the other 1,000 grasping hands for your dollar. You follow me? So you got to cut through all the other, you got to shove your way up in front of everybody else and say, this problem you have, you better solve it right now, Buster. That's the second thing you got to address in one shape or form in your video. Okay, great. In your video, you've established credibility, you've attracted attention, you've established credibility, you've addressed and amplified the pain point, and now you deliver a concise, rapid description of the solution. Quick. I don't want you getting into the tall weeds. I want you to give them just enough of a taste of the solution that does not answer their question completely. Man, when you talk about that solution, you better just give them a little bit. It's like almost like it's like a trailer, a good trailer for a movie. You want them going, wow, what else? What else? Right? So whatever you're addressing, whatever solution you're portraying, after you've gotten their attention, established credibility, slammed home their pain point, your solution should be the solution, but you don't tell them everything. No, sir. If you give too much information about your solution, the person may, and in fact, in most cases, think they got all the data and make a decision before you've even had a chance to give them the call to action. If you give them too much information on the front and they think You may think to yourself, oh, no, hell, there's a lot more information I got to give them. But if you've given them too much information, although incomplete, you may have given them enough information where they think they've got enough information, they make a decision, and they're out the door. Because believe you me, if you leave the customer to make their own decision on their own without some type of intervention through a salesperson or additional sales techniques, you are losing money right and left. Okay? So don't give away the store of information. Leave mystery, leave questions, but hit that solution enough so that they go, boy, this could be good. This could be good. Okay, so let's do summary because there's one more thing you got to do. Step 1, get their attention long enough so that then you can establish credibility. Videos establish credibility because if you make them right and if they're done properly, they create credibility. They go, okay. These guys are serious. Then amplify the pain point, and I don't want you doing 16 different pain points in the video because this video I'm describing is going to be about. It could be done in 45 seconds. It could be done in a minute. It could be done in 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 5 minutes. You don't want to go too much longer. In fact, you shouldn't. Okay? So you're not going to talk about 16 pain points. You're going to talk about the most common pain point, the one that will match the most possible prospects. Then you're going to give them the solution, but oh, no. You're only going to give them enough of a solution, data on the solution for them to go, I think that could work. So that's what you're trying to create. You want them to go, I think that could work. I need some more data. Good, that's what you want to create. You got them hooked enough where they're going, I think this will work. I need more data. Boom. Call to action. If your video isn't like, calling them to action, telling them to do something, go somewhere, fill out some form, call some number, man, just throw all your money away. Just that video you just made, it's just going to be worthless. I hate to be, once again, I'm trying to just be as direct as I could possibly be. You got to tell them to do something. And by the way, whatever you're telling them to do, you've got to consider who are you talking to? How qualified are they? How much money are you going to charge them at the end of the day? Okay, you got it? You hear me? That's what you got to do. Let's go over that again. When considering your call to action, you must A, consider who you're talking to, consider how qualified they are, and consider how much money you're asking for. Obviously, there are certain things that if you're talking to somebody who's highly qualified, like, let's say everybody you're talking to is north of $100,000, okay? And you're telling them, I'm going to give you a special offer, and for $29.50, you're going to get blah. Well, that person, if it's a highly qualified person, you're asking them to go ahead and buy this, and I'm going to give you some extra, widget or digit or whatever, and it's $29. You know something? That's a doable action. It's doable. Because most people doing over 100 large, it's not like they're going to die if the $29 that they're spending, is completely thrown out the window. Now, on the other hand, if you're talking to people that maybe, doing $35,000 a year, and you want them to pull out their credit card to buy something for $500, folks, it ain't happening straight up the front. You got to ask them for your call to action is fill out this lead form to get more information. That they can do. You see, you've got to ask them, or not ask. Boy, I should slap myself right now. You got to tell them This is your next step. Do it. Do it right now. The call to action must be a doable action for the greatest number of prospects that you are talking to. You know, even some super duper, even though some folks, believe it or not, who have $100,000 or more, a $29 something, you got some shoppers out there who go, I don't know, I gotta look for something, I'm gonna look for a better price. So a small percentage of the 100,000 or more guys are going to not pull out their credit card right away, okay? So I think that's important for you to understand that you gotta, the call to action has got to ask for something that's doable. It's got to tell them, do this. Now, where do you use this great video? A video that gets attention, produces credibility, hammers the pain point. And by the way, there's a little chart on pain. Look at this pain point chart. Okay, you see the little faces here? There's a little face. That's no pain. See, little face? Man, you ain't going to sell them nothing if the thing that you're talking to, they have no pain on. Forget about it. Ain't going to happen. But let's get to, 4 on the scale of 0 to 10. Distressing. Ooh. So you got no pain at 0. You got discomforting at 2. You've got distressing at 4. You got intense at 6. You got utterly horrible at 8. And then you have unimaginable, unspeakable, excruciating pain. Man, if you have a product or service where a significant number of people are at 10 and you can actually communicate to them properly through a video, and you have an offer that's reasonable and fair and even potentially better than fair, man, are you going to sell some stuff? So I just want you to remember this little chart. It's the no pain to the excruciating and unbearable pain. It's your chart. And you've got to take a look at, is the pain you're describing, it's got to be at least at 5 or 4 or better. It's got to be between 4 or 10, and the closer to 10 you get, the better. Okay, so slight little digression. I call it the no pain to bad pain chart. You know what I mean? So here's the deal. Here's where you're going to use this really romp and stomp video that grabs attention, creates credibility, addresses and amplifies the pain, gives partial information about the solution, and gives them a doable action. You are going to use it on your lead generation, whether you're using Facebook, Google, YouTube, Facebook marketing, I don't care. So you're going to use this video for leads, and brother, you better use it for sales. You better figure out where you're going to use you need to incorporate that video some way, shape, or form in the sales process. Okay? So I hope this was very helpful. We are now going to do our drawing. And by the way, just as a little, I'm going to give you a little tease. This is called a tease in the radio world. Next week, I'm going to show you how to close many, many, many people at the same time in 30 minutes. Okay? I'm not going to say another word. I'm going to show you how to close many, many, many people at the same time. Okay? I think you'll like it. So let's go ahead and go to random.org, because we're kind of random folks here, and let's see who's going to win 1,000 cloud coins. And for you people that have never heard what a cloud coin is, that is a new second generation digital currency, and sooner rather than later you'll probably be hearing about this so much that it may even get up there with Bitcoin. So folks, if you come here, you just arrive at a 10 and I'm giving you cloud coins. Why? Because I'm going to show you later how you're going to use those cloud coins to actually increase your sales. So let's go ahead and do our little drawing. Okay, got a lot of people here in the audience. So we're going to go ahead and do the audience. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attendee number 17 has won 1,000 cloud coins. Okay, I want to thank you for attending this. I hope this is helpful. It's all about increasing your top line, and I appreciate you coming next week, Friday, 2 o'clock. Find out the system that you or an individual salesperson can use to sell a whole lot of people all in 30 minutes or less. Okay? Bye-bye.